What's up, guys? Here with another episode of the CoCast, and it's the first episode of 2023. And we're here with my man JP,
Yes, sir.
and we had a great episode with America's Bill on Business.
Yeah, we did.
And we wanted to give you guys another episode today about financial freedom. But tell me a little bit about your holidays. How was your Christmas? How was, New Year's?
Bro, it was good. So I'm local, so I didn't really have to travel much, so my family's like pretty tight. And so we just kind of hung and just rocked kind of close, and so that was good. A little after Christmas shopping or whatnot. It was good.
Yeah.
Good time.
So how was the experience about your first episode on the podcast?
Bro, it was good. The love was good too. Like I didn't really know what to expect, but it seemed like when we started talking, it seemed like all the just the conversation was fluid, you know what I'm saying? And it seemed like you had a lot of good feedback as far as from the conversation as well. And so, it's all love.
Yeah, people love the episode, honestly, because there's a lot of people from back at home.
Yeah.
They'll hit me up and they're like, "Yo, dude, like, how did you find these people? Like, this dude, he's saying some great information. Like, he needs to have another episode and tell me a little bit more and all that stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, like, I gotta feed the streets. You feel me? Like, I gotta, I gotta put the people on to stuff because I ain't gonna lie, you was out there preaching. You was telling me some information. I'm like, bro, I never heard this before. I gotta tap in and you know what I mean? I gotta lock in and all that stuff. Yeah. So can you dive deep a little bit? Just talk to me a little bit more about your journey and financial freedom. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think that for me, the journey kind of comes at just from what we see all around. We see all these examples of just like materialism everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember, it's interesting you asked me about Christmas. My brother, he gave my little son some Jordans.
Yeah.
This is significant because as we were growing up, my dad never got us Jordans. Like, I mean, it was just something like, it wasn't that he couldn't get us Jordans. He could afford them.
So what you guys wearing though?
Bro, like some Avrex, some non-name brand Reebok, whatever. I was just, bro.
Like Payless shoes.
What you say?
Payless shoes.
Bro, do not do me like that on this on this pod. Don't Payless shoes me, bro. Like, no, it was like Reebok outlet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was something to that degree. Think FUBU, think all these type of, off brands. And my dad, like, he would be like, yo, like, I refuse to pay, like, for Jordans. And I was like, yo, what? And, like, so we would go to my, like, cousin's house who, like, clearly was in a different financial situation after Christmas. They showing off they Jordans every year and all this stuff. And I remember me and my brother would always, like, had this tension. We was like, yo, why won't Dad get us no Jordans?
Yeah.
And so he would say, like, hey, I'll get you money. And what you do with your money, that's your business. But I'm not going to buy you no $200 pair of shoes. And I was like, what?
It's like, you don't love me enough?
Right, exactly. He was like, nah, because he's like, one day you'll get it. And I think that that's the truth, man. Like, you got people who they show their love through things, which ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Like, you should always give somebody something. If you love them, like, show them. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's something as far as if we model putting our resources in the wrong things, as far as like, and we don't have our resources in anything, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna like build value for us. And so what he was doing that whole time was being able to teach us how to actually save money, the thought of investing money. He would ask us about trades. I'll never forget, my brother helped him make a lot of money on this Under Armour trade. It was around about the year like 2016 or something like that. I'm sorry, 2006. And my brother told him about this trade. He was like, hey, Dad, like, Under Armour's down. You should buy this. See what happens. Mm-hmm. Bro, like, my dad made, like, some good money off of just listening. Yeah, just off of listening to my brother, My brother was, like, 15, So, like, those types of conversations early kind of is what started me in that even journey.
So he built the foundation young.
Right. Real
so
big.
He built, like the mental capacity for you guys in financial freedom. Like, all right, like, hey, like, you guys are at a young age.
Yeah.
I want to teach you guys this now instead of learning later on.
Yeah, but he never, like, really broke it down. It was like, what's a budget? He just was like, don't spend all your money. He was like, yo, try to live off half your money. That's the most he would get to. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays, we got, like, what? Ebooks and all these things about, like, resources on, like, what's the budget. He never taught us like that.
Do you think he taught you guys by just off of his own actions?
Oh yeah,
instead of just like teaching you guys, like saying it. He's like, all right, like you guys just watch me and I'll show you guys how to do it.
yeah. I would say that's the way he put us on.
All right. So since you guys got that's hard information to get, especially at a young age.
Yep.
A lot of people could wish to have that same information you guys had like the age of 15 and
Yep.
younger than that. So what's some of the what's the mentality you have to have to for financial freedom
As an adult,
as a young adult,
yeah.
for all ages actually.
Well, I think that one of the first things is that you have to like recognize that we live in a capitalistic society, bro, especially in our country. And so you gotta like have this mindset of, am I the consumer or am I working my way towards like owning my product, like owning what I put in the world, or am I just consuming all the time? Like the average person, especially if they're young in their 20s,
Yeah.
they think that investing is only in the stock market, but they can invest in themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they can.
Explain that a little bit. Like, how can they invest in themselves?
So one of the ways is, okay, they got this car that they don't use. Okay, what are ways that they can make this car work for them? We got apps like Uber. We got apps like Turo. Turo, you can put your car on Turo and somebody pay you to rent that joint for the day. That's an asset of yours working for you.
But what you would need a certain type of car, wouldn't you not?
I mean, bro, as long as your car is like within 6 or 7 years old, like that's their only stipulation.
Oh,
And
that's
it,
nice.
you know what I'm saying? It can't be like no beater, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
of course. But most people, they drive nice cars, they go and they get them a note, you know what I'm saying? They like, okay, what's the most car that I can afford for the cheapest payment?
Yeah.
Now they got this payment and they stressed about how to make their payment. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying like the first step is really having this mindset of like, okay, I want to be financially free. So how do I cut myself from every cord that I've like literally entangled myself with?
Yeah.
That's a payment. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, we sitting on furniture. Me and you, people at home, like people listening later, they've all experienced wanting to get new furniture.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mindsets there? Now, there's a mindset A that would say, oh, no problem, man. Like, I can put that on payments. You know what I'm saying? We've all seen the Aaron's trucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, Aaron's was a part of the moving. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, I'm going to get me a new apartment. They're like, I'm going to go to Aaron's first. And it's like, okay, like, have you ever looked at how much the payment at Aaron's, if you maximize that term out, what you would have paid? You know what I'm saying? For this couch. So Aaron says, you know what, Cole, we can get you a deal on this furniture set. We can furnish your whole living room set for like $250 a month. Or let's say $200 a month.
Yeah.
Somebody bites on that. They furnish their whole apartment for like $250, $300, whatever. But now they got this term and they got this interest that they don't see. And so they're making this decision because they're like, oh, I gotta have furniture. And they're not making this decision of like, okay, I need to save for it first. Try to afford it, because if I can like pay cash, now I'm actually saving myself from paying more in the long run.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, bro. Like that's the first difference. And what it really comes down to be honest, bro, is like delayed gratification. And the truth is, we don't like that, bro. We want our money now. We want our gratification now. We want whatever we want right now. And I think that when you talk about like changing mindsets, somebody got to be willing to like slow it down and say, okay, what am I willing to delay so that I can actually have it the way I want it?
Yeah, I think for me, I think that I will have to say that's my number one.
Yeah.
Is you gotta look at your own mindset first.
Right.
You gotta be willing to sit back and really think like, okay, am I doing what's really important? Like, am I really spending? What am I really spending on? Like, am I spending money on clothes that I don't need just because you want to look fashionable? You want to look you want to look trending. You know what I'm saying? You want to look. You want to be hip.
Yeah.
Or are you spending money on food, pointless food for no reason? Like, instead of going out to lunch every day, like, hey, you know, I could cook at home.
Yep.
I just could do that.
Yep.
So it's like different things like that. You got to look back and say, okay, like, you know what? I had this. If I want financial freedom, these are the little things I have to cut out first. And it's easy to say, but hard to do, because once you build a habit of something, like a nasty habit, or just a habit you want to break, it's hard to really do, because now you're forcing yourself, like you're forcing your body to stop something that's been known to do.
Yep.
That's like clockwork. Like you don't have to tell yourself like, oh yeah, like you already know off rip.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it. It's like you could get up, like there's times I could go and drive and it feels like I'm not even driving.
Yep.
It's because I already know. Because
Yep.
I already know what I'm doing. It's like
Yep.
it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just a mental
and your
focus.
brain is trained in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like science literally backs it up. The science says that like there is literally neurological pathways that's made when we repeat an action over and over, like positive and negative. So if you want to break a bad action, you got to replace it with a new action.
Yeah.
And you got to be consistent doing it, even when it doesn't feel like it's making a difference. It's like, okay, I'm used to doing this. I'm gonna start doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like talk junk about myself or like talk like negative self-talk myself into this. But it's like, all right, I'm not that anymore. This is who I am.
Yeah.
There's something powerful about that. Like when people are talking about like this mindset, and bro, even a step before what you were talking about like recognizing that part of the mindset is, what about just like writing down like where I am, like writing down like what I got spending. The first thing that most people would tell you if you sat down with them and say, "Yo, my money is jacked. What do I do?" They're gonna say, write down everything that you got, write down everything you spend. And it seems elementary, right? And like people are like, yeah, but help me how to get free. Well, write down everything. Write down everything you're spending. Why? Because there's this principle that if you can't manage it, you can't. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. You know what I'm saying? Think about that with like almost anything. Athletes, bro, like they're so dialed in, like workouts, all this stuff, because they can measure their success. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, they can manage whether they're going to be successful or not because they're measuring it.
So tell me, why you think having the right mindset is important though, when it comes down to this?
Finances,
Yeah.
bro, because like if you don't get a mindset around the fact that you actually can win at this as far as money and finances, you'll always just kind of accept what life gives you. You'll always accept that it's like, well, my mom, this was her financial situation. My grandma, this was hers. So I guess this is what I got to be.
You know what's crazy? Because I remember it was actually in high school. I would never forget this shit.
Yeah.
It was my elementary, not my elementary teacher, high school.
English?
It was my English. It was my English teacher. It was my English teacher, and he was like, whatever your parents, like their financial background, how they are right now in life, that's most likely how you're gonna be. And I remember that, like hearing that at that age, it pissed me off. And I remember just looking around the classroom. I was actually so mad. It made me more mad that no one else was mad.
Yeah.
Like everyone just looked at him, like, you know what I mean? It was just like, yeah, whatever, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, there's no way you guys actually believe this. Like, you guys actually believe that whatever your parents are right now, that's gonna be what you are. And it's like, and no one's gonna say anything. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna show any emotion towards that. And it's like, it kind of made me mad. I'm like, nah, like, because if you have that winning mindset, I think when it comes down to financial freedom, you have to have a winning mindset.
Yeah.
You have to really look at the ins and outs of it. Like, you know what? Like, boom, I may be lost today, but you know I could bounce back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna lose every single 365 days. You know what I'm saying? Shoot or shoot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna knock down some.
Yeah.
And I feel like that having that mindset could definitely lead you way further than, like, you know what, like, yeah, you know what, I gotta be satisfied with what I have right now, instead of like, you know what, you gotta obviously like be savvy with it, because not every what you call it big number is actually gain. You could also like, you know what, you could, instead of taking out the stock market, you're like, you know what, if I leave it in a little bit longer, it's just gonna gain more. But in reality, that's not always the case.
Right.
So obviously, like, pros and cons when it comes down to that. But I think having that winning mentality is like the best thing you could do.
Even what you said there, bro, like if we break that down, just thinking about like winning mentality, right? We live in a time right now where like, bro, everybody can do this. Everybody talking, everybody saying this. That's why I like I love that term, like when people like, oh, that's cap. That's cap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like talking clearly they lying. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, what are you really saying? And the reason why I'm like slowing that down, what you just saying there is because I think that there are some people who would hear you say that and be like, Oh yeah. That's what I do. I got the winning mentality. I got the winning mentality. I got the winning mindset. But every single day, they can't tell you what they spent on. They just know that money hit their account, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, but they would identify with you and us in this conversation, in this context, that nah, man, I got the winning mentality.
Yeah.
And so, if a person can't be real with themselves, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But you can sniff that out though.
Yeah.
You can really sniff it out.
well, that's what I'm talking about for the audience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
they got to be real with themselves about like, yo, like, where am I actually at? Like, for real.
What lies do you think people get caught in while trying to like their own in their own mind? Like what's some lies they tell themselves?
What we just talked about, like,
Yeah.
I'm better than I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing just fine. You know, and it's just like, yo, are we though? Like, okay, I know people who struggle every single month, like every single month, but refuse to change because it's comfortable, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know. Like, there's people, there's like generations of families I've seen in the same projects, and it's just like they're just comfortable because they know that area and they're just comfortable where they're at.
and like I used to be way more judgmental to that scenario than what I am now. I'm much more empathetic, and what I mean by that is, I think that if you never get out of your context, if you're never exposed to like anything different than what's around you, bro, you just start thinking that everything that's around you, that's all that life
Yeah,
is.
but not everyone's gonna hold your hand though.
True.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
at some point in time, like, you're old enough. Like,
Yeah.
at age of 10, you don't need your parents like have to remind you different things. Like, hey, like, yeah, go brush your teeth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
go take a shower. Like, little stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying. Like, sometimes you gotta be empathetic and all that, but certain like for saying like that,
Yeah.
it's hard to be empathetic because as if you want more, like, yeah, that's all you know, but you know there is more because you see it on the internet.
Yeah.
We're in that day and age there's media.
Yep.
Everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like what really like
Bro,
like what's your reasoning for this?
So let's just put ourselves in that, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say we didn't drive the luxury cars till we drive. You know what I'm saying? I peeped that outside anyway. But let's just say our situation was different, right? And we're sitting here listening to Codecast, and we're in a project.
Yeah.
We just got through selling drugs. Like, we literally just got through making a drop, whatever, because that's what we do to survive. Like, I'm just saying, like, if this is an actual real person.
Yeah, I you know, it's crazy. I know people that listen to this that live in that same scenario.
But that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? So they decide, right after listening to this, I'm done with it all, and I'm about to like go take step one. I'm about to like start putting my life together. What does everybody in their environment tell them first?
That they're crazy.
So before they even get the fortitude in here, like, so let's say they done built that up. You know what I'm saying? They got the common sense, they see the examples, all this stuff, but their entire support system, if you will,
Yeah.
entire surroundings is saying, "You crazy? You ain't gonna do that. Who are you?
Yeah.
You're one of us. You'll always be one of us." You know what I'm saying? And so this person's having to fight through all of that. And so I'm not saying that it's not real, but just think about like the things that we don't have to fight through. Like, I can't remember the last time someone told me I absolutely could not do a thing.
I remember that. Like, it was recent. Like,
Yeah.
I had to do that going through high school.
Yeah.
There's times I'm like, damn. Like, I remember, I'll never forget this moment. It was like freshman year.
Yeah.
It was in the group chat on Facebook. I remember these two girls are like, well, it was one girl. She's like, yeah, I don't think you could play college football. Like, she named two other people. Like, yeah, like they can, but I don't think you can. I remember it's 14. I'm like, oh, fuck no. Like, you just tried me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like later on, 4 years later, like, granted, I'm playing college football and they're not.
Yeah.
And it's not like to shit on them. It's like, at the end of the day, how willing are you? That's your mentality, though. That's step one.
Yeah.
Because not every single road is going to be easy. The financial freedom is not an easy road.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's going to be times you might think your circle, like the people that you really think are around you that's really there for you.
Yeah.
And they say, like, oh, no, you're crazy. You're just like us. You have to look at them like, nah, like, I'm not. Like,
Press through.
yeah, you got to be like, like, you guys are stuck in this way, and I want to be different. Like, you got to be here for me. It's either you're not there for me or you're against me.
I'm just saying, like, back to the person in that scenario we was talking about.
Yeah.
if they're gonna get their first legit job,
Mm-hmm.
bro, they just made $1,000 last night. They get a legit job,
Mm-hmm.
some QT or whatever their first job is. They make $1,000 in 2 weeks. How does this? You know what I'm saying? Like just
Yeah.
that mindset. That like so it goes back to what you were saying about like having that winner mentality piece. Because I'm just like putting myself in as far as I never like to just like talk fast and yada yada. Because I do believe that everyone has access. But bro, everybody's barriers ain't the same.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Because I could definitely remember. Well, it's on the other side, like on the other side of the spectrum
Yeah.
of things, unfortunately. But that built me up to who I am today.
Yeah.
To know, okay, like if I make these wrong decisions, then you know what I mean, I could end up back in that situation.
Yeah.
But one thing about like, oh yeah, when you can make 2,000 in 2 days in a legit day,
Yep.
like I'm like, oh yeah, why would I go get a job? But one thing, like one of the things I heard was like fast money comes with like slow problems, and those are probably like we're gonna do a dirty cash. You can't go buy it like a 2023 Mercedes.
Right.
The IRS is gonna be like, hold on, like
Right.
it's not matching up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
you're buying the E class
Yep.
for 90K, and you ain't got no job. They're like, hold
Exactly.
on, like where's this money coming from?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like little things like that. You gotta like people don't understand like cash is king, but in reality, it's not always king.
Yeah.
Like fast money is cool,
Yeah.
but you really just can't do a lot with it. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. That fast money,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, like, typically if it comes fast, like it ain't gonna last. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not to be like robbing, but I'm just saying, like, most time, bro. Like, you know how people get scammed, like, how people get scammed, like, all the time.
Yeah.
It's by thinking I can get rich quick. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody promised them. You remember those like Forex people like be all over everyone's posts. Like, I'll make you money on Forex. And it's like, come on, man. Like, who is really believing that in a matter of 10 hours you about to quadruple your money? Like, but that's the lie that they sell, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so like people get on that because they're just like, again, back to they don't want to delay no gratification, and they're just like, yo, well, okay, I'd rather risk this. But like, while you risking that on some like fake play, you could be over here actually building wealth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Actually, like the slow roll, like how you said, man, like just building it brick by brick.
So tell me a little bit. How do you manage setbacks? What do you do for a setback? Because everyone's setbacks are different, and when someone manages a setback, they let that setback hold them down forever.
Man, yeah.
So how do you like operate yours and go around like when you hit some problems?
One of the things I always try to say is this situation, this setback is not it's not a sentence. It's just like something that's situational. I'm just going through this. This is happening to me in the moment. But this ain't who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like disappointment happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you lose a job, you lose an opportunity. I remember like I was bidding on a certain type of job, and I thought I totally had this joint in the bag. Did all this work, presented it great, all this stuff. The people smiling, shaking my hand, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, send us an email, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, great. It's in the bag, right? And I remember this was one of those times where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go buy this thing. It was something like I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was something that wasn't a wise buy if like that deal didn't go through, you know. And so I found myself spending something that hadn't come yet, you know. But I was like, oh, I'm confident this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Bro, the next day, absolutely not. Like they hit us back. I don't know if it was the next day or the next few days, but they basically sent email being like, hey, like we decided to go another route, blah blah blah. And I was just like, oh crap, like now what do I do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because now I've made this commitment, you know what I'm saying, to this thing that costs more money, and like, so I found myself in that type of setback. But like, what I have to do, and regardless of even if it's like really big financial woes that someone finds himself in, and they find themselves in like a really tough situation when they owe a bunch of money or whatever, they have to just start working brick by brick. Okay, how do I take ownership in this moment? Like, all right, what can I control? This is what I did.
Yeah.
Now, how can I start getting out of this? Like, okay, I got to be committed to this. I can't act like it don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I act like it don't exist, I'm just fooling myself. I'm playing myself. Like, I'm acting like, oh, nah, man. Like, if I just act like this ain't here in like, 10 months, it's gonna be straight. That's what people do with collections on their account. They be like, they get this small bill, bro. Some small bill at first. They're like, nah, I ain't even thinking about that. Like, whatever. Then it gets sent to collections. It's coming back. Nah, I ain't even thinking about that. Now they want to go get a car or get something, whatever.
Yeah.
Guess what's coming up? That small bill from way back whenever, Verizon, 2015, or Sprint. Sprint is notorious for showing up on everybody's stuff. Sprint coming up. Now you can't get this thing that you're trying to do because you've delayed handling your business back here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where people get caught up, bro. I think that's where people get caught in traps. Like, just honestly.
Yeah, I think setbacks, for me, like how I handle mine, honestly, I just need a few hours just to, like, think about different plans. You got to think about different plans. And if you need help, just contact certain people that that can help you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you need some guidance. And for some people, some people don't have guidance with that. So there's people you could, like, references you could look online. You know what I mean? There's different places you could call. Or if you have a question, like I said, the internet. You know what I'm saying? But, like, obviously you don't want to trust everything on the internet when it comes down to that. It's always great to have someone in your back pocket, like, okay, like, hey, like, I have a financial issue here. Like, can you help me out? Yeah. Like, guide me through this way. But a lot of the stuff is, like, sometimes you just got to sit back and just be like, all right, like, you got to just take your hard hat to work. You know what I'm saying? Just sit back and be like, all right, you know what? This is what I gotta do. You gotta do it the hard way. Yeah. And and that's the easiest way to do setbacks at times. It's like, like there's a mess up. There's a mess up. Like, you can't do nothing out of it. Yeah. And you gotta work. Sometimes you gotta do some stuff you don't want to do, like some jobs you don't want to do. Yeah. But if that's the only way of, like, bringing income in to start something. Yeah. You gotta realize, like, it's something bigger than this. This is only present right now. This is going to be the past, like, tomorrow.
The thing I'm thinking about as you're talking about that is how many people get caught up in, I'll call it the cycle of the setback. And that's where they keep, like, blaming, like, other parties for why X, Y, Z, and the third happened. Yeah. Man, I would have been this if this didn't happen. Man, do you know how far I would have been if blah, 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 blah. And what they find themselves is because they've never taken personal responsibility of any of those things, they just keep finding new people to pull into the cycle of setback. Yeah. And so then they find themselves 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years in this cycle. And they're watching their friends go past them. They're watching their friends accomplish stuff, do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we've all seen that. Like, I mean, you can probably think about, like, guys, if you go back to your hometown right now, who you grew up and you saw them on the same block, like, doing the same stuff. Mm-hmm. You can go back right now today and they doing the same thing because they're stuck in that cycle, man. Stuck in that cycle of setback, and it's always someone else's fault. It's always, and that's why for me, I can't get with whenever it's always a person saying, well, man, like, I'll be fine if it wasn't for this, and this. And I'm just like, okay, like,
you gotta take accountability.
Right. I get that happened to you. I'm, like, okay, that happened. But now how do you take control of your future? Like, and I think that's the piece that's missing. Like, people have to take control of their future, bro. Like, they have to take control of, like, where they want to go. What's their destination? And it's like, because they don't know where they're trying to go and they just know what other people is doing, they lost.
Some people don't. I don't think some people know how to even take control of their own lives.
That's it.
They let other people control their lives for them, or they're still trying to figure it out themselves. They're just like, just being a dog chasing its tail. They're really just running in circles, not knowing what to do. And I think that's a hard thing to do and hard thing to manage, honestly. I think at any age.
Bro, I think the biggest thing we can encourage people to do, me and you included, is take time to center ourselves. Take time to, like, actually get to know what makes us tick. Like, what triggers us. What makes us uneasy? What makes us anxious? What situations we don't like being in? I think the average people, bro, the average person don't know themselves to that degree. So when you start talking about, like, doing something like managing finances, it seems so you might as well tell them to like go win the lottery tomorrow. Like it seems almost like luck, bro. Like to a person like that because they're like, how can I do something with something that I've never really had success
Yeah.
in?
So how important it is to have a team around you though for this financial freedom journey though?
I think for me in my business is definitely where I see that the most as far as like needing a strong team around you, right? So like to reference the last episode that we were talking about was like before you can like manage a business,
Yeah.
manage your person. You know what I'm saying? Like manage you as a personal business, like your budget. Get good at that. I think for me in business, I always try to keep some people that are around me that don't think like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so this person's highly analytical. I want to hear from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm thinking about making this move right here. What do you think? You
Yeah.
know, hey, I'm thinking about making this move right here, and like, so this person might be just as analytical, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking for like the critical aspects of like, hey, okay, this is gonna affect your person. This is gonna affect you personally in this way. Have you thought about this?
Okay.
Have you
I see what you're saying.
considered that?
Yeah.
You might have other people who not so much about your personal, but they're thinking about like, okay, what's this gonna do to your business? You know, and they're gonna bring a whole nother mindset, a whole nother like perspective that you ain't even thought about. It's like you're like,
Yeah.
dang, okay, I'm thinking about launching this, and they're like, okay, how much is it gonna cost? How much time are you gonna have in it? How long is it gonna take before you get a return on your investment? You're like, dang, I ain't even thought about the return on investment. You're like, okay, this is important to have you in the room. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
Yeah.
over here, I'm just hyped about the idea. This person, they told me it was good because I'd be able to do this with my family. They asked that question. This person asked this about, my mindset, all this stuff. But this person asked about the actual health of the business. You know what I'm saying? And the financial plan. So I feel like as a team, man, like it takes that. If I'm an individual listening to this pod right now and saying like, yo, okay, that sounds good for business, but like, what about me? I don't have no business, but I'm trying to be financially free. I'm trying to like walk in this financial freedom. I would say their team is themselves, number one, and then their personal banker. They're gonna have to go to Wells Fargo, go to whatever bank they bank with, and try to like that can be an intimidating situation to be honest, bro. Like if you're not used to going into a bank, like going into a bank saying, "Hey, I want to open up an account," and I actually want to sit down with a personal banker because I need to talk about some goals.
Yeah.
And if you feel comfortable with the person, that's where I would start. Number one, it's just like, hey, I'm here to open up this account. I got this much money. This is what I'm trying to do. What do y'all offer? It takes a level of humility, bro. Like without humility, ain't nobody about to do nothing great. You know what I'm saying? Because like at some point we got to be able to say, I don't know. Will you help me? And like you're not asking them for money right there. You just saying like, hey, like I'm opening up this account. Like what are my first steps that I should be able to do? That person says, okay, we'll save $1,000. You're like, okay, all right, well at least that's a goal.
Yep.
But I said the personal banker because that's typically people's first interaction with the financial officer, like like a banking person, whatever, that they don't feel like overly complex. Like if you meet with somebody who like trades stocks and stuff on Wall Street first, like that's kind of like, well, I don't know anything about Wall Street. I don't have a bank account.
Yeah, they might hit you with something crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, so if I'm that person and listening to us right now on the pod, bro, it's just like, okay, I'm trying to get my finances in order. I don't want just one of these internet bank accounts where I can just open up easily. I need to actually sit down with a person because a person will be able to actually provide me with their perspective, and that's gonna be able to help me start getting some ideas that I'm not thinking about. You know what I'm saying? And then just be willing to actually put a plan together based off what they say.
You gotta be a little bit open minded.
Facts.
Yeah, you gotta try something like that. Honestly, I could definitely say that's scary. Definitely for like my age group.
Yeah.
Like if one person's like, oh yeah, just go to the bank and like go talk to someone. I'm like, ah, shit. Like,
Yep.
do I feel like doing this today? Like, like it's like you gotta have a little bit of second thought at first. Like, all right, like you just gotta take that leap of faith.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I remember my first time going to the bank. I'm with my mom, and I'm like it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like not weird in the sense of you're a parent, but just like you don't know. Like I was just at a young age of 18, like just going in there, like wondering, like, all right, but like, am I making the right decision? Are these the right like steps? Are they gonna try to trick me? Little things like that,
Yep.
because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes people do take advantage of you, though.
Yep. So a few questions to arm a person to arm themselves with, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever they are like going into the bank for the first time, let's talk to that person who's the first time they've never talked to a banker, you know what I'm saying, except for the creditors calling them about what they owe. About what they owe. This person needs to ask a few things. Hey, what are the fees involved with me with this account?
Yeah.
That's one of the things. By asking about what the fees are involved, I now know like, okay, are they charging me monthly for this account? It's just a yearly situation, and then like, okay, is this the best account that I can have in my position? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they literally are selling you a product. You know what I'm saying? Like, big banks get in trouble for this all the time, or used to anyway, where they were pushing certain products.
Yeah.
But you're there for a checking account. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so they're probably 9 times out of 10, they're gonna ask you about direct deposit. That's gonna be one of the first questions they ask you. They're like, "Hey, do you have a direct deposit?" If you have a job, that would be time to be able to say yes, and make sure you're open to that being there. You'd be surprised, or I think it's kind of shocking whenever you see just kind of research on it of just how many people get their checks put on preloaded debit cards. Like a bunch of people like trust plastic that, like, you know what I'm saying, like it just gets loaded there and they use it from there. And so this is one of the first things, because until a person gets comfortable in a financial institution, they'll never go to a financial institution to make like the next move where you now need capital for a business. You now need a credit card for a business or whatever like that. Because it's kind of it's intimidating, bro.
How important is a team for your success, though? Your individual success?
Everything, everything, because I can't see, like I can't see my blind spots. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so everyone has this mindset of like, oh man, it's gonna be like me versus the world, and I'm gonna do all this by myself, and blah blah blah. I'm gonna start from the bottom. But like the truth is, there's no overnight success. Absolutely none, bro. Like you know this like from looking at um, like musicians or artists and all this stuff. There's no overnight success. Anyone that you see that's now made it to like a public eye
Yeah.
has thousands of reps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Reps upon reps upon reps. LeBron James still practices free throws. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry still practicing, like, the basics. But we have this mindset that we think that we can get the results without the reps. And that's like, what? Like, it don't even make sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, and what else would that work? It doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So my team, I feel like, is everything. And so to a person who's now looking, saying, man, like, yo, who's my team? I think you just have to really size people up that's around you, and like where they're headed. How do they carry themselves? How do they carry their finances? How do they carry their picture? Do y'all have real conversations around money? You know what I'm saying? Do you have real things other than just like, yeah, bro, I'm just trying to like, you know, just be ratchet out here? No, like there comes a point where people start having like some conversations that begin to separate themselves, and where it's like, okay, I can tell that he's serious.
Yeah.
I can tell that something's different. And whenever you find that in people, man, I think like bookmark that, like earmark that, like, and like say, hey, okay, I need to come back and have a conversation with them because I can tell something about them is different. And so that's kind of a big thing.
How do you appreciate the people that help you, though, like individually wise?
Man, I think gratitude is a big one here. And it's just simply letting people know you're grateful. I think it's also easy sometimes to get caught up in the fact of like, okay, all right, what we're doing, we doing this. Um, that sometimes we can forget to tell people thank you.
Yeah.
And bro, sometimes that's all someone want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like, okay, like I kind of like look at it like this, like with my team, or like even my staff team, as far as like my business. I think about it like when I don't do random acts, as far as just to let them know how grateful I am for them, like
Yeah.
like they're top of mind. Like I'm really grateful for all that they do, bro. The environment is totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm taking advantage of them, or not taking advantage, but taking them for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just like, all right, it's Monday. Y'all supposed to be here.
Like you
I'm
already
here.
know what the deal is.
Exactly, bro. Like, and who wants to work for that? Like, you know what I'm saying? All of us have been in situations like that where like we felt undervalued, underappreciated. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
it's like you'll work way harder if you just feel valued.
that
You know what I'm
is
saying?
true.
It's
Yeah, especially if you feel like it's not just for, like it's not for one person; it's for
facts.
everyone in general.
Facts.
It takes a team effort, and everyone knows like okay, like hey, we have the same goal, and boom, like we want to reach that goal together, and then that's how the train just keeps on growing.
That's it. That's it. So team is everything there, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's 100% everything.
What was the moment in your life that made you change the way you feel about success?
Bro, for me, um, I think like having kids changed that, bro. Like that's one of the things. Like having kids is one of those things that changes the mile marker for success. I'm trying to think of another one as well. I think nah, man. I think the biggest one for me that's just glaring is having kids because you go from this mindset of like me first, me first, me first, me first, to now it's like we. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not just thinking about myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about others, and so I think marriage was that big change for that first, but like the seismic change was when you have a child. You know what I'm saying? Like when I had a kid, like that changed everything as far as like what was success. Because when that kid is looking at me, or you one day, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you might be too cool for kids or whatever, but like, but for me, when my son is looking at me and he's saying, Dad, he's not comparing me to nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm the best dad to him because I'm his only dad.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And there's something about that no one else in the world can be esteemed that to him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just different. That's just it hits different. And so I think that whenever we're sitting there looking at like success, I remember one point in my life, it was about titles and like, oh man, like if I can get this title, if I can be acknowledged by this person. But I remember being rejected by like by a group, man, like, and it kind of flipped this on his head. You know what I'm saying? Because I had like worked for recognition in this group or whatever.
yeah,
Like yo, if I get this title, bro, like I'm gonna be in here. And when all that fell apart, it made me reset what success really was. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is success? Bro, me showing up and being the best me I can absolutely be. That's successful. Like, I'm successful. Like, was I me today? Did I give it all I could? Did I leave it out on the field? Like, you know what I'm saying? For the athlete example, like,
yeah.
did I empty the tank or did I have something still in there? Like, because success ultimately in that regard is like, okay, did I work towards what I wanted to accomplish?
For me, my moment of realizing like, all right, like I want to be successful and all that. Like I could see the switch because I finally understood it a little bit when I was a little bit older. It was
Yeah.
like 14. I remember I was walking with my boy Marcus. Shout out my boy Marcus. They're my best friends for life. We're just young. We're young freshmen in high school. We're just talking about like, yo, like, what do we want to do? Like, what do we want to do with our lives? Like, how do we want to live? We see the people that are older than us and how they live. Do we want to be like them? And we literally used to have like long talks
Yeah.
after football practice, just going back to the crib, just going home, because we used to live in the same area. And I just remember during those talks, we're like, nah, like we want to live different. We want to be able to do these different things that we weren't able to do at those times, and the type of life we knew we wanted to do and what it would take.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a tech school, so I was in plumbing and he was in metal fabrication, so he was doing welding and different type of stuff. So we used to say like, yeah, like this is the route we're gonna pick. Like we just literally we had a plan during that time. We used to just walk and talk and just have a plan during that time
Yep.
and just chop it up like, okay, like what's reasonable, what's not, like this is possible. Like we don't know who else is doing it that's gonna make this plan work, but we're gonna make it out some way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think just at that young age, like not even realizing how important those talks were. because some people like to this day don't even have talks like that with their best friends.
Yep.
Like, and they're like
Yeah.
25, 27.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point, like, when are you going to have that talk?
Yeah.
Because if you guys just staying afloat at the same time, then what's the, like, it's really no fun because you got, like, you can't do anything if on a 2-person boat.
So like one thing I feel like just kind of like encouraged to just kind of share in that context is, for me, there was a point in life where like money was success. It was synonymous with success. It was like success equals money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that like the more you go on a journey, you recognize that like money is gonna come, but money isn't always success. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know someone looking like dead broke is like, man, what you say? Like, money will fix all. Yeah, money will help fix some problems, but money never help fixes me. You know what I'm saying? Like you will find people with crazy access to money. This is why you got people like out here like flaunting luxury cars and all this stuff and luxury houses and all this stuff, but they're dying of overdoses and stuff, bro. Because money, you know what I'm saying, never really connects with true success. Like true success, like think about when you won as a team. You accomplished a goal together. You know what I'm saying? You won. Okay, well, when the thing about money is like when you accomplish a goal with money, you just want more money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like I want to make $1,000. All right, made it. 10,000. Oh, all right, I made it. Shoot, I want to make $100,000. You know, like, bro, at one point in my life, no flex, that was a huge goal, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can make 100K, what? It's like I'm rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's perspective because you get there and it's like, okay, well, now what? You know what I'm saying?
Keep going.
Right. Well, I know, but I'm saying like that's where for me is it's like that changed the pendulum for success, because success for me now is just like, okay, am I accomplishing what I want to accomplish? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, money is gonna happen when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As far as when I'm being authentically me to this world, when I'm providing value to this world, to the market, and everything around me. Like, when I'm doing that, bro, money is gonna follow. Period. Because I'm solving problems.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I stopped going after money. Like, I went after like, okay, let's solve problems. Like, let's provide value. Let's do this. Now, is there a monetary amount tied to that? 100%. You know what I'm saying?
So money still the root of it though.
Nah, bro. Like, I mean, money is attached to it, but it's like if I was just trying to do everything I'm doing right now for money's sake alone,
okay.
bro, I'd be stressed. Like, just stressed out. Period. Like, because there's no, like, money is so shallow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta enjoy it.
Right. It's like everyone sees the example of like gold digging women or gold diggers. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if you get the person and they lose the money, we know you out. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you there just for the money. It's like, so if that person was thinking that money was supposed to like secure your heart, no, it ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Like, it's just a good time. It's just whatever. So that's just my encouragement, bro. Like, to people, and it's so hard because I talk to so many people in our country and our context, man. That's just like happiness equates money. Just like how I said, success equates money. Like, nah, bro. Like, you got to learn to be happy with yourself first.
Yeah, you gotta be happy with yourself. But for me, success, I could definitely say money's part of it.
Yeah.
But I know there's more to that though.
Yeah.
Like with chasing money, it comes with like chasing finding myself out, learning more about myself
Facts.
and all that, and can I provide for other people along that way? Can I help out other people along that way? For me, that's success.
Yeah.
And making sure I'm becoming a better person every day. Like, yeah, a few days might happen and all this stuff, but what am I doing to progress and help other people progress?
Bro, and that's what I'm saying. If that's the focus, and then you add this thing of like, okay, but how can I also provide for myself while doing this? It's just not flipping those things out of order. You can't go after money and like disregard yourself.
Oh yeah.
because you'll end up losing yourself in the pursuit of money.
No, you'll burn out. You'll burn out, or even like lose important people.
Right.
If you're like, oh yeah, like, I'd rather just go do something else. I'd rather just go do this job instead of like
Yep.
hang out with some friends.
Yep.
Like, yeah, there's a time and place for that. Like, yeah, if you're grinding and all that stuff, but there's times like, okay, like you know what, you have to be like, yo, I need some time. Like, I need some time to relax, or
Yep.
what's the main focus? What am I really doing this for? Am I chasing the ghost, or do I actually have a plan of what I want to do?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that's some people just get, for example, like selling drugs.
Yeah.
People like that's fast money, but what's your plan after that?
Yeah.
They don't have one. They're like, okay, like when you're gonna get out? When's your time? To be like, you know what? I made enough money. It's time for me to cut it out. Boom, and just keep on going. And just
But they don't know. They don't know.
They don't know.
So they're just like, well, when I make enough, I'll know.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, so what's enough?
Yeah.
And then when enough gets too late, next thing you know, they're in cuffs.
Yeah.
And it's just for a long period of time. It's like you should have known when to drop out, or just like when to call it quits.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But what would you tell someone? Like, what's the first step for someone struggling to find success that can't find it right now?
I would say take control of your calendar. Like, that would be one of the first things that I would say. And, like, equally as important, bro, like, is, you know, we've heard it said, like, oh, man, I just got to get my time management right. Time management. But also there's a mindset to be managed, too. And you need to see that in what you're committing to.
Mm.
If you're not, like, so if, I think I told y'all this example on that last pod of just, like, yo, if I don't see myself showing up for me on my calendar, like doing stuff that helps me recharge, or doing stuff like where like I'm helping balance, like, and just kind of like fuel myself, then I know like, yo, I'm getting out of balance.
Yeah.
I'm working way more than what I'm putting back in. And so like a person that's trying to take this first step, it's like, yo, like take assessment of where you are. Like, okay, what's your day-to-day schedule? And if you look at it and say, I don't like this, I should be doing this. Okay, let's see, like, is there a practical way that you can implement that? Just one thing. Don't try to implement 7 things at one time. The probability that you'll actually do is just, like, very low. But what's one thing that you can begin to, like how we said earlier about those neurological pathways, like how you can start making new pathways in your mind to actually form new habits around that one thing. So if we writing down a calendar, bro, and we sitting there saying like, okay, I'm gonna make up my bed every day. That sounds trivial, right? But to a person who doesn't make up their bed, who doesn't clean their room, who doesn't basically do anything of order in their entire life, also included money and also included all these things. Now that person just feels like this is a huge uphill battle.
Yeah.
But the first thing that they can take control of every day is just commit to making their bed. One simple thing. All right, they begin to get consistent with that. Now, what's one more thing that I can add on? I don't know, something else. Once you build these little habits, bro, like now you're getting some compounded situation where it's like, okay, I can now take on another thing that affects my real life, my mindset, these different things. Half the time when people are like sitting in depression, bro, like they sitting in like busted rooms, lights off, shades all over the windows. It's looking terrible in there. Smells like bud. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, it's a terrible situation. They're like, man, I just don't know why I can't get motivation. You know why? Because your room ain't clean. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because you're not sitting here washing your butt, bro. Like, you're not doing the small thing. Like, let's not talk about stocks, portfolios, bonds, and making moves. No, bro, let's talk about the small thing. How you first manage when you get up. When you first get up, what tone do you set to the day that I'm serious about myself? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that, bro, like, that's the stuff that people overlook, bro. It's so small. Like, think about, bro. Think about when you was in college, or like I remember that was one of the first wake up calls I had, because like I had strict parents, bro. Every Saturday they making sure, yo, you clean that room, like, because I know you was out last night after the football game, like, but is your room clean? Like, that was like drilled into my head, bro. So when I got to college and like You rooming with like some dirty butt dudes. It's just like they stuff all over the place. It's smelling like 3 weeks of laundry. Like it's just like
Throws you off a little
right,
bit.
right, bro.
Yeah.
Because it's not a norm. But for them, they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? They don't even see nothing's wrong with it. So my first thing is getting control of your calendar and doing one thing that you can actually control every day. And that one thing for most people is starting with something as simple as making their bed, because that will train their brain into a new way, a new reality. Now they'll say, okay, I'm gonna stop talking this way. Why? Because they have success at a small habit that they've been trying to, replicate. And so now they feel like, okay, I can take on the next thing. But if they say on day one, man, I'm about to stop sleeping with my girl. I'm about to stop doing that. I watched this video. I watched this video. I'm talking about like sperm retention or something like that. And these dudes was like on this panel, like, yeah, man, like,
Yeah, people
yeah,
like
this
to
the new
believe that
wave.
bullshit.
This the
I
new,
don't know.
this the wave, bro. This the wave. I was like, how many of y'all really about to sit here and do this? But this is the era that we live in, man. Like everybody just talking about all this information, but nobody's giving this practical thing of how our minds actually work.
Yeah.
Our minds work off of patterns, bro. Like, and so whenever a person's trying to break a pattern, like one of the things that, like I have a lot of experience with is just like breaking certain patterns I have with like unhealthy lifestyles as far as fitness and like food relationships. So for me, one of the things that I had to like bro, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, can I wake up every morning at 4:30? Like, no. Like, who does that? Who wants to do that? But when I made a decision of like, yo, you know what? I need to put myself first here. Like, I need to get up and actually go to the gym, because if I don't go to the gym at like 5, bro, I'm not going to the gym because just how busy my day is.
Yeah.
So now I had two options, bro. Like I could say I'm too busy to go to the gym and just keep like, deteriorating
Stride
away.
along,
Right.
yeah.
Or make some sacrifice. And then now I got something to be able to measure. So I'm not like sitting here trying to like, oh man, it's going to be some 30-day pill or whatever. No, it's a long progress, but at least I know where I am. It's something to measure, you know what I'm saying? And so I started taking a small step.
So, would you tell someone that's in the very beginning stages of saving money or making money right now?
Don't quit. Don't don't quit when it's discouraging, and automate your savings. Meaning, don't give your brain a chance to talk you out of the discipline of saving that money. What do I mean? Go right now onto your app, sign in, click the transfer thing, schedule the transfer, schedule the amount that you want to be consistent with. Some of y'all need to be consistent with $20. I'm sounding like the people at church. Some of y'all need to do this. Some of y'all you got $10 right now. You got $20. No, one of y'all got. Some of y'all have something you can start with. And I'll just tell you, bro, like it's not that everybody got to start with saving $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's saving $10 a week, $20 a week, something that you can just like start to automate. You know what I'm saying? Okay, how often do you get paid? Okay, before I touch this money, I'm about to set this transfer up. And then I'm going to forget about it. That's what's the good thing about automation, bro, is you end up forgetting. And then you look back and you're like, hold up, bro, like I got like $500 in my savings. Like, how did this happen? And for a person who's never saved in their life, this is the enough momentum they need to now to say, oh, that was $20 a week. What if I do $30, $40, $50? You know what I'm saying? People have to start somewhere, and they have to start at a place that's not too intimidating. So if people are at home listening to this, I would say, what's the number that comes in your head that you feel like you could save every 2 weeks easy? Go $10 underneath that and set that draft up right now. That's the first. That's a practical step. Yeah. Somebody thought $50 in their head. Oh man, I can save $50 easy every 2 weeks. I can save $100 easy every 2 weeks. I can save $500, whatever that thing was. Go underneath that, set it up. So since that was the number that came to the head, you know what I'm saying, real quick, go underneath it and start being consistent. And I think, as people see themselves winning, bro, something that I even think, as you were talking earlier, I think that you could do some type of co-workshop or whatever, co-cast, whatever, where you literally bring a banker into a centralized location and just have like, you talked about a very real thing where you said, yo, I think people intimidated to go in there. You know what I'm saying? My generation
Yeah.
intimidated to go inside and like talk to a real person. I'm like, okay, all right, so what could you do to help with that? Well, if you facilitate a workshop where you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this, whether it's on campus or whatever, I'm gonna provide this environment. Here, you'll be able to open up checking accounts by the end of it. I'm gonna have this person come in, you can ask them questions. We can ask them questions. So now that takes away the intimidation of me sitting in front of a person I don't know. And so it's about facilitating those environments where we can get people in the rooms, man. Like, cause that's ultimately what it's about.
So what would you tell the people that have a timeline and how to construct that timeline when it comes down to making money?
Okay, what do you mean by timeline? Like, in what way?
Let's say I have a goal. Let's say for me personally, let's say I have a goal. My personal goal actually is by 24 I want to buy a 3-family house.
Okay. So I would ask you right now, are you saving regularly and consistently? Is your savings towards that goal automated yet? That would be where I would say start. You know what I'm saying? Like, because without that, it's like, okay, so what am I saving towards? I'm probably saving towards a down payment. What the down payment costs? Let's say it's $25,000 for a down payment, okay, or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm just using a number. If it's $25,000 divided by 24 months, which is 2 years away, that seems a lot more feasible than, okay, I haven't saved anything and now next month is all due. Like, if I want to make this play, I got to have 25 bands next month. So that's why I say, man, like, just start saving anything. The closer you get to your goal, start looking for ways to have less bills, like cutting your bills, while looking for ways to increase your income.
Yeah.
So looking for different things that can be able to make you legal, legit money. Legal and legit money.
All right. What's the best piece of advice you'd give to someone that's ready to change their mindset and become financially free?
That you can do it. That you can actually do it. Believe that you can actually do it. Stop saying that I can't. Stop saying that this is not who I am. Stop saying that my family never did this. No, start saying I'm a good steward. Period. I am a person who manages wealth. Even though you don't see it in your bank account, begin to have these I am statements, because what ends up happening is you begin to attract what you say. You know what I'm saying? You attract what you put out. And so if a person is sitting here starting at that journey, they have to be able to know they can do this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't become a podcaster like once someone said you're successful. You were a podcaster the moment you said, I want to podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. So a person sitting here saying, hey, I want to be financially free, they need to begin to declare from their mouth, actually make declarations verbally through their mouth that I am financially free in this way. And now I need to make decisions as a person who is financially free.
Yeah, take that step. I think once you take that step, once you first take, like, let's say the automation, for example.
That's it.
Like once you make that first automated setting.
Yep.
Then everything's like, okay, like, hold on, I can actually do it. You made the first step.
Yep.
Now the second step is going to be easier.
Yep.
The third step is going to be easier than the first step now. And like, some steps might be a little bit harder than others, but it's like you're taking a step. It's all repetition. Yeah. Like, I think it takes 21 days to make something a habit.
Yep.
So all you got to do is really just count down 21 days to do something like, okay, like you said, making them your bed.
Here's the other thing, bro. Like, as you were talking about that, just jogged my mind. When you talk about the goal that you just shared, if someone shares a goal like that with you, that is like, okay, in 24, I want to be doing this. We have to be able to give ourselves enough grace that if the time of our discipline, the time that we need in discipline doesn't match the timeline that we're saying something needs to happen, we need to be able to give ourselves grace to it, either extend the timeline that we want to happen or increase our discipline in this moment. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not willing to increase my discipline, but I don't want to change my timeline either, then I'm stuck at disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Because discipline, like no discipline, And no change of timeline, expectation, leads me always to despair and disappointment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what people have a hard time identifying, is that they never increase their discipline or never increase their sacrifice. And they also never change their timeline about when they were expecting it. So now they hit a crisis where there's like, it must be someone else's fault because I said I was going to do this. I wanted to do this. I think you actually wanted to do it. But I think that if your discipline doesn't meet your sacrifice or your reality of when it can happen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then it's like how you said, we'll burn out and we just won't dream, man. Like, so then we'll just be like, man, who he think he is saying he can do blah, blah, blah. Like, because it didn't work out for us. Well, we weren't emotionally intelligent enough. We weren't mentally intelligent enough to be able to handle disappointment. You know what I'm saying? And so as men and as like when I think about like black men, bro, like this is one of the places where I wish we would experience more vulnerability as it relates to like finances and being an actual dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yo, we should share when the stuff don't work out too. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We shouldn't just be sharing like, man, nah, bro, all I do is win. I just win, win, win. It's like, yeah, but that ain't reality. Like, sometimes you trying and the stuff ain't making sense. Like, it ain't working out. Like, the math ain't mathing.
But that's how it is though. Like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I'll like tell someone a goal of mine, and they'll kind of look at me kind of crazy, and it's like, damn, do you think you could do that? Like, is that like how like that sounds impossible? And I look at them kind of crazy because it's like, I've seen like, you think this is impossible? This is just step one. Like, this is
Exactly.
nothing. This is
Exactly.
like what I want to do. This is just the start of something. Like,
Yeah.
the start of something huge. It might be huge to you, but for me, this is like, that's obviously a huge goal for obviously that time period of mine.
Yep.
That's gonna happen, but I know later on that's a sample size. That's just the start. I'm like, this could be a day I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, like I thought that was the biggest thing. Now look at this now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And sometimes you gotta explain to those people and look at them kind of differently. Now, like, this is what I have. Like, it might be impossible to, like, you might think it's impossible. Like, hey, let me show you
Yeah.
why it's not.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are the people you just kind of want to stay away from, because if they're putting doubt in you and they're consistently putting doubt in you, like, are they actually really helping?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? It's like,
I like.
what are you really doing?
I like to say too, you need somebody on your team who can encourage your confidence.
Yeah. But not be yes men though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But I'm saying like not just only point out where you prideful. Hey, bro, you prideful right there. Hey, like you know what I'm saying, like we always got these people who like will point some stuff out and like, and that's healthy.
Yeah.
But also encourage my confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like encourage me to also believe, you know what I'm saying, that like I actually, you know, should be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Not just like, man, I don't know, man. Like, you know, who are you? Like, what, you know, can you really do that? You know, to a person like you who have different capacities, like I would talk different. Like we're right now, we're in like talking to the masses right now as far as this pod. But like offline or like to you directly, I would be like, yo, Cole, here's some strategies that you could actually do. Like if you're willing to put in the work, here's things that you know this type of money is available to make that goal happen. But bro, here's the thing. If we sit here, we could share information all day long. 99% of everybody gonna hear it. 20% gonna write it down, and maybe less than 5% gonna actually do something with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that like I find, and so like that's why I stick to like the basics of like, okay, hey, if they're right here in this moment, they need to believe that they actually can first, and then start putting themselves in a place where they discipline themselves and actually create some sacrifice towards their goal, and start seeing it win. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, bro, like they're just dreaming. Like, and dreams ain't plans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and plans ain't nothing unless you're gonna execute.
It's kind of funny how you said dreams are not plans, because I remember when I was young, I told myself, I'm like, yeah, you guys got, like, for me, I'm like, that dream, like, saying the word dream, that's just that, because I realized dream is just something you wish you can attain.
Yep.
A goal is something you know you could attain.
Yep.
So I used to really stop saying dreams. I'm like, nah, like, I dream, like, why would I say a dream if I know I have some, like I said, goal.
Yep.
And I can accomplish a goal. You can't say, oh yeah, I accomplished a dream. You can, but
no.
You can say a dream came true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say, oh yeah, a dream came true. I want to say, like, yeah, this is the work I put in, and this is what I got out of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty. Like
Yeah.
you said, financial freedom. Like, this is a great episode, but nothing in this episode was, oh yeah, it's gonna be easy. Like, we know it's tedious. We know it's a
Absolutely.
hard time. It's not a simple thing to do
Absolutely.
because I'm in the goal. I'm in the process of that. Like, that's something I always said. Like, this is what I wanna. This is what I want to do,
Yep.
and this is how I want to portray my have my life to be. And I know the things I got to do in that life, in my life, to get that, to get what I want,
Yeah.
to maintain a lifestyle I want to please myself with.
Yeah.
I know that's not an easy thing to do, and like I said before, like like big things like that is gonna come with big problems.
Yeah.
So
So I guess my my question to you would be, someone sitting on a goal, or let's say a dream that's not quite yet a goal, because I'm sure this pod was like, it started in your mind, and then it became like a goal, something you wanted to do. Like, what did that look like for you? Like, to get that off the ground, to actually take it from your mind to put into the world.
so it's actually crazy. Um, First was I had Berry Boys, and that was three of us. It was two of my boys and me. And I told him, like, yo, like, let's start a podcast. We have great conversations. I was like, we might as well just, talk about it one day and actually talk, you know what I mean? Give more, like, just give more details and, like, all that stuff. So one time, like, we were linked up and we talked about the ideas, like, what we would be talking about, different stuff like this. And I told them basically the same shit I talk about right now.
Yeah.
And, and that's how it went. And then obviously that stopped and that ended. And I knew I wanted to do a podcast still. And I know it wasn't a dream. I know it wasn't a dream. I was like, I wrote this on my goal board. So I knew this was going to be something I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Yeah.
But like you said, you just got to take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
So what I actually used to do, I actually used to practice on people back at home. I'm like, hey, like, are you free? Like, I want to do a podcast episode with you. And I knew it was going to be posted. For me, it was really just practice.
Yeah.
So I would just get my phone. I'll just, we will link up. I'll put my phone in the center console, make sure it's nice and quiet, tell them, like, hey, like, this is what we're talking about.
Bro, but pause for a quick second. You like going through this, and you be asking these questions of, like, what if someone's saying this? But look, like, they said, like, in sports, like, yo, go back and look at the tape. Look at the tape. You wrote this down. You broke it down. Like, you like, that was the first place it became real. And I think that, like, someone listening needs to be able to hear the first place that something's going to become real, if not to no one else, is to yourself when you take it from your mind and you write it down on something. The board, the sticky note, or whatever. Yeah. It's real in the world somewhere, even if nothing else other than that sticky note. And I think that, bro, like, that's something that, like, people skip over. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, your process of that is huge. It even talks back to the point we were making earlier about getting reps in. You interviewing people that you not even gonna put on air, but you just interviewing them because what? Getting the reps in. So when people are sitting there, like, trying to make these moves, it's like, what are you willing to do to actually do it? You know what I'm saying? That's inspiring, bro. It really is.
Yeah, but it was, for me, it was enjoyable because I knew I wasn't gonna post them on the air.
Yeah.
But what I really used to do was I record them and I would send them to people I trust. I'm like, okay, like, hey, would you guys listen to this? Tell me what you guys think and what you guys like. Like, tell me the pros and cons. And they will actually listen to it and tell me, like, hey, I like this. Hey, I don't like that. Cut this out a little bit, or kind of get straight to the point. Little things like that. So I knew I had a plan and I had a goal, and I knew how it was, like, what I wanted to get done.
Yeah.
I didn't exactly know how I was gonna get done, but I knew I was, as long as I started and put my effort in.
Yeah.
That's what really just truly matters to me the most. Like, okay, like, hey, I tried.
Yeah.
Instead of like one thing in my high school coach used to preach about was, don't be a woulda, shoulda, coulda. You would have done something. You could have done something. You should have done something.
Yeah.
And that really eats me up of, like, damn, I wish I could have done that, or should have done that.
Yeah.
So what it would be, like, I just knew if I didn't do this, or even didn't give it an attempt, maybe one day later on, I'm like, damn, like right now today, and I didn't start co-cast. I'm like, damn, what would I be doing right now?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like little
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then,
Yeah.
and to me, like I'm glad I could tell stories like that now,
Yeah.
because it can help other people. Like, damn, he really just started in 2020, and look what happened now. 2 years after co-cast happened.
And that's why I asked you to recount that story.
Yeah,
Because that's going to be the key to somebody unlocking their first steps. For you as a podcast,
yeah,
for someone else, it's financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? For someone else, it's they have this goal of something that should be. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, where do I start? All right, how do I get reps in? Like, all right, I'm writing this down. I'm trying. Like, all right, I've tried this. Like, who can hold me accountable? Because that's ultimately what you were building there. It was like with that group of people you were sitting to. It's like, this is accountability. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm actually doing this or I'm not. You know, and so like when people like can actually take those steps, bro, I think that's powerful. Like, so it's the same thing. It's applicable to how you talking about here, doing business, doing a project, doing a podcast. Same steps, bro. Same
exact steps. That's just a whole different, model.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
I like this episode though. I hope you guys really like this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do you have anything you want to plug in?
Bro, no, that's it. Y'all just keep staying tuned. Like, put in the comments where you actually like what's one thing that you feel stuck in as far as with financial goals, or just things that you would love to hear as far as topics on it that that Co can bring more value on, and that maybe we can research, bring other people on that can be able to help, because ultimately we want this audience to grow financially.
Yeah.
Everybody be able to crush their goals.
Yeah, for sure. And start out 2023 with a bang and finish it with a bang, of course.
That's it.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.